Like other Muslim philosophers, Al-Ghazali, or well known in the Islamic world as Imam Al-Ghazali, has a philosophical theory about what al-aql is. Let's scrutinize it on this video. So far, al-aql, or the rational faculty, is not only seen to be a faculty to gain knowledge, but also understood to be human behavior. Therefore, the problems of science and of human behavior in general are the results of human error in understanding the rational faculty itself. In the study of Western philosophy, the rational faculty tends to be limited by the ability of reasoning. In the epistemological hierarchy, it is placed to be the highest way to gain knowledge and understanding. From this, we can understand that the principle of modern Western philosophy only accepts knowledge from a purely rational and physical world. This understanding later became the background of rationalism and various Western schools of thought and became the principle of civilization that continued to develop in the Western world. Whether realized or not, the superficiality of the function of the rational faculty, which is only limited to reasoning, has created progress on the one hand and has had a major disastrous impact on human spirituality on the other. In the view of Islamic philosophy, al-aql cannot be separated from reasoning according to its ability to think, nor can it be separated from the heart, al-qalb, as a substance to know both rational, empirical, and metaphysical realms. That's why, in the view of Islamic philosophy, truth is not limited to the real world, material world, but also believed that there is truth in the metaphysical realm. According to Al-Ghazali, the rational faculty and the spiritual heart cannot be separated from one another as an-nafs, the soul, and ar-ruh, the spirit. And this is what Al-Ghazali declares to be the soul. The soul, mind, or the rational faculty, heart, and spirit are the essence of human being. That's why Al-Ghazali calls this soul or an-nafs the essence, jawhar, not accidents, art. The difference is only in the position and function of each substance. However, it is the rational faculty and the spiritual heart which then give characteristics to the soul and spirit, and to all human behavior and actions. The relationship between the rational faculty and the spiritual heart, according to Al-Ghazali, is actually able to show the nature of truth to humans. Before proceeding to the discussion of the concept of the rational faculty and spiritual heart, it is necessary to briefly discuss the concept of human being in Al-Ghazali's Sufism, because according to him, the essence of human being is closely related to human's mind and heart. In the Quran, human being is called Al-Bashar, Al-Insan, Al-Unas, An-Nas, Bani Adam, An-Nafs, Al-Aql, Al-Qalb, Ar-Ruh, and Al-Fitrah. From all those terms, human being is a unified whole. But in appearance, each person always accentuates certain aspects, such as jismiyah, physical, nafsiyah, psychic, and ruhaniyah, spiritual or transcendent. Each of these aspects displays its characteristics, which later in modern Islamic psychology, this division is included in the three aspects that form the totality of human being. In line with the opinion, Al-Ghazali, who lived in Islamic Middle Ages, viewed humans as inseparable from the general custom of their era. As the opinion of previous philosophers who said that human being consists of two sides, the physical body and the metaphysical form, the soul or spirit, Al-Ghazali himself seems to simplify the psychological and spiritual aspects into one, that is the soul, an-nafs. Or it can be said that in one element, the soul consists of two aspects, psychological and spiritual aspects. This is because, according to Al-Ghazali, only in the soul the human psychic and spiritual abilities are created. Here it can be understood that of all the existing constituent elements, the essence of all human elements is the soul, an-nafs. The word al-aql comes from Arabic, ayn, qaf, and lam, which means binding or captivating. The word al-aql is also the same as al-idrak, consciousness, al-fikr, contemplation, al-hijr, retention, al-ribat, bond, al-man'u, preventing, and al-nahyu, prohibition. All words that have the root words ayn, qaf, and lam refer to the meaning of the ability to control something, whether in the form of words, thoughts, or actions. So al-aql can be interpreted as a unique faculty given by the Creator to humans with which they can think, know, and yield to knowledge, can bind information with reality, and restrain lust. That's why people who use their minds are called al-aqil, that is, a person who can bind and captivate their lusts. According to Al-Ghazali, al-aql is immaterial substance that points to the essence of human being. Intellect is something subtle which is the essence of human beings. It is the same as al-qalb, al-nafs, and al-ruh, all of which are different only in names. Even al-aql is the entity of the soul correlated with intelligence, which in this respect can also be called intellect. These are equated because they are immaterial, subtle, and secret in the sense that human's mind itself cannot grasp its essence. Because this entity is not related to space and time, it cannot be measured but can only be known by the intellect and the activities in it. In general, al-aql assumed to be a place for thinking, imagining, or remembering, according to Al-Ghazali, is not exactly such. In explaining the concept of al-aql, Al-Ghazali distinguishes between substance and faculty. Al-aql is substance, while its faculty is divided into two. The inner one, internal, and the outer one, which covers all of the exterior body. Al-aql is the immaterial substance that moves the perceiving faculties from within, batin, such as imagination, mutakhayilah, memory, zakirah, estimation, wahmiyah, representation, khoyaliyah, and the senses, al-his al-mushtarak, all of which are located in the ventricles of brain. In the ventricles of brain, the process of those faculties composing and separating information takes place, which is then al-aql deciding whether it only captures the conclusion or executes responsively into an action. However, the ventricles of brain doesn't really indicate those take place within them, because these faculties are immaterial mental faculties. Thus, al-aql is not a place of thinking, but the activities of thinking such as imagining, remembering, estimating, representing, and sensing are independent faculties driven by the first substance, that is al-aql. In the simplest sense, al-aql is the entity of the soul works in the human's intelligence. This means that everything related to human knowledge, intellectually, is the essence of al-aql itself. Simply, the work process of al-aql goes through a series of stages from different organs. In the process of apprehending knowledge, al-aql uses both internal and external perceiving faculties. The most important external organs are the five senses that can be seen by the naked eye, which are then further processed by the internal organs such as the ability to see, smell, and so on. Each of the five senses captures specific information. In this case, it is not the physical organ that captures the information, but the animal mind, the sensitive soul. The information captured by the five senses is forwarded to the internal faculty to be processed, stored, and reproduced at any time. At the initial stage, this knowledge is processed by five internal perceptive faculties, which include imagination, memory, estimation or wahm, representation, al-khayaliyah, and senses, al-his al-mushtarak. The senses function to receive images of objects captured by the five senses, and al-khayaliyah, representational faculty, records those images. The next process is the abstraction performed by the estimative faculty, al-wahmiyah. Here, what is captured is no longer the image of the object, but the meaning of the object. For example, when we see a tiger, what is captured is its meaning. That is a dangerous animal that must be avoided. The expression of meaning here is still particular concerning objects that are directly observed. The meaning captured by al-wahmiyah or representational faculty is then sent to the memory, al-dhakirah, to be stored. The highest and last faculty in processing information within the internal faculty is the so-called imaginative faculty, also called the faculty of thinking, which functions to connect and separate images that have been captured previously. All this perception uses the brain as its tool, and this seems to be in line with the current developments of neuroscience, which has found the working principle of the brain. The imaginative faculty, according to Al-Ghazali, is shared by humans and animals. However, the nature of it is not entirely the same. In humans, it is related to a higher soul capable of connecting with God, and this is related to the obligations of humans to worship, while in animals they are not. Al-Ghazali further named this faculty al-mufakkira, or contemplative faculty possessed by human beings. and al-Mutakhayyila, imaginative faculty possessed by animals. One of the principles why al-Aql distinguishes humans from animals is its ability to ruminate on or to contemplate mufakkira. In this point, animals don't have the ability at all, so they respond to events in front of them merely by virtue of instinct, in contrast to humans who are able to think in response to knowledge. Whereas the definition of thinking according to Al-Ghazali is the imaginative ability towards rational knowledge intervened by the rational faculty. The relationship between al-Aql and the imaginative faculty functions to organize and separate the information they receive, and then the mind infers the information. So it can be said that thinking is an activity of reason together with the imaginative faculty. See you next time.